First of all, I'm really sorry in advance itself. Okay, so I may not able to speak that well because of my throat still not yet in good condition. So in advance, I'm saying you sorry for that. Okay, even you all are there in the line, na? So I think yours was because of the food what you ate or what? Water, change of water. Okay. So I think we have done lots of discussion on this one, right? Uh, if conditions and all. So I, for those who don't know that program, if you, do you want me to teach that program? Okay. You just tell me the conditions, okay? So I have already told you all before also. Any program you want to write, how to actually write a program. Any program, whatever you want to write, how do you actually write it? Okay, your first step should be basically think of some algorithm. Think of some algorithm, or I would rather say that write some pseudocode. Write some pseudocode. Okay, and when your pseudocode is basically done, right, that time you should ask yourself few questions like now what things I have studied in the language, what things I have studied in the language that can be used, that is that can be used to implement the pseudocode. Okay, these are the simple things which you should actually be caring about. So there also I will first of all write and show you some pseudocode. Okay, so let me go back to my complete what's that day file is. I'll write it in day file itself. Okay, so I'll open up this code folder. You already know, I feel, how you do all this kind of stuff in VS Code, and also I will not be explaining all this kind of stuff. I assume that you all know all this kind of stuff. So I'll create a new file here. You know how to create files and all. So assignment solution .py. Okay. So first step is actually to write a pseudocode. What does it mean, pseudocode? Pseudocode basically means in normal language you write how would you actually solve a program without Python. If you don't know Python, in normal language, how would you actually solve this program? That way you should write. So first of all, my pseudocode, ps pseudocode. Okay, I'm just writing some pseudocode. So my first step would be print something, right? Print on the screen what I have told you to print. Can you just read out what all lines I had told? Okay, so print on the screen fire is in front of you, and next. Do you want to move ahead or get a fire as extinguisher. This is a question mark. Okay, so actually see here, this is your statement. There is a fire on the fire is in front of you. This is a statement, and this is the question which you are asking for the user. Actually, this should be written on next line. Do you want to move ahead, or do you want to basically get a fire extinguisher? This is the question which you are asking to the user. Now tell me, what are the possible solutions? What are the possible answers which user will give you? Tell me. Either he can tell you, I will move ahead, or I will get a fire extinguisher. Is it clear? Or if he is very bad boy or very bad girl who is trying to test your program, he will try to give some other word apart from this, which according to us it is an invalid input. So you should handle that also. Okay. So if someone is trying to type, you are actually asking him to enter only 2 words. And those 2 words are nothing but either get a fire extinguisher, either enter a fire extinguisher word you type, either type this word fire extinguisher, or you type the word move ahead. You are asking him to enter that, but if he is entering something else, then it is an invalid input, right? So your step 2 should be basically take input from user. Take input from user and check what input he has given. What input he has given. Okay, so after we understand what input he has given, let me go to step 3. Based on what input he has given, based on what input user has given, we should decide what should be printed on the screen now. What next should be printed on the screen. Okay, so there are 2 possible options here. So in step 3 itself, one user may type, let's say answer. We store the whatever user has typed, we store this in the variable answer. So answer, if I can just write here, if answer is equal to let's say move ahead, then we will have to do something. What we have to do if answer is equal to move ahead? You notice I am not using exact the same syntax of Python, because Python uses actually this, because this is a pseudocode, but this is just a normal language I am writing a program which is helping me to understand. This is actually called a pseudocode. If answer is equal to move ahead, then what should be printed on the screen? Come on fast. You are burned. Game over. Game over. This should be printed on the screen. Else, let's say else, if answer is equal to fire extinguisher, if he enters fire extinguisher, come on, suggest me. Fire extinguisher. If he enters fire extinguisher, then I will have to print. What I have to print? Yes, right. So I will write you are safe and you have come in front of a road which has 2 sides. Okay. Now I'll ask him another question. Do you want to go left or right? Do you want to go left or right? Now I'll ask, after asking him, do you want to go left or right? Again, he might give 2 answers. Left or right. If he's a bad user, he might give something else also. That we have to tackle. Okay. If he enters something else, we will have to type invalid input given. Game over. Okay. But do you want to give left or right? So again, simple. You will have to just take input. Because you are asking him a question. Do you want to go left or right? Take input and see what he is saying. Take input and check if he wants to go left or right. If he wants to go left or right. Simple. It goes on like this, man. So it's so simple. This way you can write, and I'll just write here, and so on it continues until you win the game. Okay. So the program aspect of it is very simple. First, seeing the pseudocode I'm writing. Okay. Print on the screen. Hey, well, let me write first of all, welcome to treasure game. Nice. Let me write this. Then let's write print. So you can print multiple things also by putting comma. Okay, so you can put here a comma. You can put a comma here, and you can write multiple things here. Again, one thing also you can write. That is also possible. Okay, so anytime if you want to print multiple things inside same print statement, you will have to put it separated by commas. So welcome to treasure game. Perfect. Next, you are in front of a fire. Do you want to move ahead or get a fire extinguisher? Very simple. So you're asking him to give some input, right? So there is no question. If you're asking him to give an input, obviously you should first. You're asking him to a question, right? So you're expecting some answer from him now. So you know how to take input from him. So I'll just write answer 1 is basically equals to input. If you don't want to print anything, you can just write like this. If you don't want, whenever you are taking input, you don't want to print anything, that time you can just put this empty string, nothing else. Okay. Why you can do this? Because you have already asked the question here. Or else your other option would be to do it like this. You are in front of a fire, you should print like this and ask him a question. Do you want to whether move ahead or get a fire extinguisher? However you want to do it, that way you can do it. Okay, so let's do it here. Now he is going to give us some input. Based upon the input, I am going to take some decision. Okay, if answer 1 is equal to move ahead, then game over. You are dead. You are burned. Okay, perfect. Very simple. Elif. Answer. Sorry. Yes. If answer 1 is equal to fire extinguisher, if he is typing fire extinguisher, then we will have to print something. Print, let's say you are safe. You are safe and you have come in front of a road which has 2 sides. Okay. Now after that you print, again you are expecting him to enter some input. Whenever you ask him to enter some input, you can again use the input function. Answer 2 is equal to input. What question you want to ask? Do you want to go left or right? How do you want to go? Where do you want to go? That you can ask. Okay. So I'll just come back to this first of all. First of all, let me write else statement for this. Else. If user types something else, if he did not type move ahead, if he did not type fire extinguisher, if he typed something else, then you should type print invalid input given. Let's game over. Okay, you should handle all the conditions. Okay, perfect. So if this is done, input we have got, now we have got answer 2. Now see, you noticed which kind of statement we are using. We are using nested if statement. We studied if statement, we studied if else. When to use which also we know. When you want to check only one condition, if statement. When you want to check 2 conditions, if else statement. When you want to check more than 2 conditions, else if statement, when you have again multiple conditions but each condition is dependent upon some other condition, again you will be using nested if. If answer 2 is equal to left, I think if it is right then you are dead, right? If it is equal to, you can make it interesting. What is that? Print you are in front of a tiger and tiger ate you, game over. Okay, if it is like that, sorry I messed up something here, yes, correct. Okay, else I've already told you how to write. If you are starting if here, it should be started in same line, and this space I have given because this line print statement should come inside if, so I have given some space here. Okay, and if and else will be in same line. Else if, elif, elif, I told you can put these brackets. If you don't want to put, you don't put it. If answer 2 is equal to maybe right, maybe left, then what do you want to do? I don't remember those conditions. What is that? If it is left, come on fast. You're there? Hello? I am audible, right? आता काय होतं कंडिशन? आन्सर काय? Left. Answer 2 is equal to left. Perfect. You have met a you have a partner to help you in finding treasure. Perfect. So question is again, you should ask one question for him. Answer 3 is equal to, do you want to take your partner or no? Okay, so he'll be answering only yes or no. That's it. If answer 3 is equal to take partner, yes or no. Okay, whatever you want to consider. If he's answering yes, he wants to take and go, you will print something like, I'll just write in simple ones, you won. Okay, but I think you understood the point. Okay, you can write the further statement. Right now I'm keeping it very simple because I don't want to waste time here. Else you can say here print, if he's entering no, that means you can say game over. Okay, very simple. So I think I have just written the half code of it. You can complete this code. Okay, so I already told you how to write the code. First of all, you write the pseudo code and then you start writing the program. I have mentioned the steps here. What is pseudocode and all? Already been told. Okay, I have told you all at the start of today's lecture. So let's run this program and see. Python assignment filename.py, hit enter. Welcome to the treasure game. You are in front of a fire. Do you want to move ahead or get a fire extinguisher? Let's say move ahead. Let's say move ahead. Hit game over. You are burnt. Let me run it once again. Let me type now fire extinguisher is TINGUI fire extinguisher. If I type here, you are safe and you have come in front of a road which has two sides. Do you want to go left or right? Let me type left. You have got a partner to help you in finding the treasure. Do you want to take your partner or no? Yes, I want to take and go. Yes, you won the game. So I won the game. That simple it was. Okay, is it clear? Is that clear? Srinidhi, I hope your doubts were solved. At the start, you are not there, but I am not sure. But I hope. Okay, today offline college was there. What for your? Huh? Okay, fine. So, I think those who were there from the start got to understand it in much better way. You can just see that 10 minutes video. I'll upload it. After that, you can just check out. Okay, and I think that video is also being uploaded. Not sure, but I think it should be uploaded. Yeah, it has been uploaded. So conditional statement video has been also uploaded. You can just go and check this one. Day 5 video where we discussed about the story of who were those two people. Yes, Lily and Lulu. I hope you don't forget them because today also we'll be taking their help to understand something else. Lily and Lulu. Conditional statements, so that is been uploaded. You can just go and watch that one if you are not there last class online live. Today what we will be seeing is looping statements. Okay. So again, coming back to the story of Lily and Lulu. I'll just close this because I am in day 5. I don't want to be in day 5. I want to be in day 6. Let me go back. I have already uploaded books. I have created a folder books. Okay, and you can just go and see this folder. Inside this you will find I'll be uploading some reference book which you can use for Python. Okay, this is one of the good book, automating the boring stuff with Python, which I used to refer at the starting. Okay, lots of stuff which can be automated with Python that is mentioned in that book. From basics itself it is mentioned. Even they have started from variables, conditional statements, looping, all those things are explained and gone to some good level. Advanced concepts also like web scraping, Selenium automation is there. Lots of stuffs are already there. And if you want, I'll just show you the next part. Introduction, contents. You have this all basic stuff starting with ID and all this kind of stuff. Python basics are been explained here. Flow control has been explained. We have already seen all this flow control. We have seen operators, Boolean comparison operators and all. What is the difference between double equal to and single equal to? We have seen if statements and all. We'll be seeing while loops and all today. Break statement, continuous statements and all. Functions, lists, dictionaries, strings. We will take separate class on this also. There is a lot to learn in string. Then second part is all about automating things. Regular expressions are there. Validation is there. Reading from files is there. Organizing files, debugging. I have showed you some way to debug also with the help of VS Code. How you do actually debug in the program. Web scraping is there. Excel spreadsheets is there. Google Sheets, how you automate all this process. Google Sheets, Excel and all. You can everything you can automate using Python. working with PDFs, Word documents. You can create Word documents, you can create PDFs, you can write programs which can open an existing Word document. You can download PDFs from internet with the help of Python. Okay, so you can write a program and make it run at 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock it should go to this website and download the PDF from there. So such kind of stuff you can do. You can deal with JSON data, CSV files. This is about amazing thing. We will study this. Scheduling tasks. So you can write programs which will schedule tasks, launching programs. You can make your Chrome browser open up at 12 o'clock and ask it to maybe send. You can make a WhatsApp message at 12 o'clock, maybe to your best friends and all for wishing them birthdays. You can write an email. You can automate an email and ask it to schedule it at this particular time. You can launch programs. You can maybe open up a Chrome at whatever time you want to. You can send messages and all. You can send emails. You can manipulate images also. You can flip images. You can those features which you have in your mobile phone, right? You crop images and you rotate the images. How those actually work? You can do it in Python here. You can use GUI automation. This is where Tkinter library and all will come into picture. We'll be learning one more library, which is Turtle. You will be creating nice rangolis with Turtle library. You will be using your own creativity there. I'll just show you that, introduce you to that library. So I think that will be also fun. But today we are going to see about loops. So there are only two loops in Python. One is for loop, and second one is while loop. Now there is no hard and fast condition when to use for loop, when to use while loop. You can use whichever loop you want. Okay, so I'll just write here whichever you want to use. And whenever you want, you can use. Okay, whichever you want loop you can use. There is no hard and fast loop. These are the two different loops that are available. What is loop we'll discuss, but what is the difference between these two then? Why we have two? The only difference is syntax. The way we write, that is only difference, or else everything remains same, which you feel easy that you can do. So what I mean to say is, whatever you can do with while loop, same thing you can do with for loop. Whatever you can do with for loop, same thing you can do with while loop. Only there are two different ways of writing it. Two different syntax that are available. Okay, so this Lily, yesterday Ludo taught Lily about conditional statements, right? So she learned a lot about conditional statements, practically understood about how conditional statements can be used in real life, because they had all traveled to a traffic signal, right? Chennamma circle. Today actually she got an assignment from a professor. And the assignment was to print hello world. Very simple program. I don't think there is any one single person here who doesn't know to write this program, right? So the assignment was to print hello world, but only there was one tweak in that question. It was that her professor had asked her to print hello world 100 times. Okay, only that was the difference. That's it. You all know how to print hello world. But only difference was that Lily was asked to print hello world 100 times. So, as we all know, human beings, Lily printed hello world 100 times, and I hope you can imagine also how she printed. She wrote hello world, print hello world, print hello world, print hello world, print hello world. Such statement she went on writing 100 times. Okay, so how many times she used the print function is 100 times. She called the same print function, and she got the output. She showed it to a professor also. Professor also said like, she got the output. Okay, but she had one question. Okay, that she understood one thing in that program, that this might not be the best way to write it. You know why this might be not the best way to write it? Because there is no point in writing same statement again and again and again and again and again and again. If I am writing some different lines of code, that is okay, but I am writing same line, like first line what I wrote, print hello world, second line what I wrote, print hello world, third line what you wrote, print hello world. Every line you are writing same thing. So first of all, same code is getting repeated again and again and again and again. So obviously Lily has one question. Is there a better way to write this code? I hope you got the problem. Okay, this story is continuing from last class of Lily and Lulu. Professor giving her one assignment to do, and Lily does it because Ludo has taught her actually how to print at least. So I think she can do that, but she is very interested in Python right now, so she thought about she wrote it. She's happy that she wrote it, but she wants to improve the way she can write it because she is feeling that way, that it is not the best way maybe. So whom will she approach? Who is the savior for her? Huh? Ludo. Okay, fine. So obviously she will go near Ludo. Ludo will be a happy guy. If Lily comes and speaks to him, obviously Ludo will be very happy because I've already told you the. Sorry, Prashant. Okay. He'll be blushing itself, so let's consider he's blushing. However, Prashant is saying. So he'll be obviously very happy. And he will be always there to help her, no doubt in that. So she asked him that whether is this the best way to write, what the best way to solve this problem. He first of all appreciates her that first of all she at least tried and she got the output. That's a good thing, but it's not the best way to actually solve this particular problem. Okay, in programming, he is telling, okay, now whatever narration I am doing is actually done by Ludo. So Ludo is trying to tell me that in programming you have one new concept, okay, which you can use to write this same program in a much more better way, in less line of code, or maybe not writing so much big program, you can shrink that program to so much small and get the same output. You can get the same output faster. You can do it in a more better way. So there is one new concept. Now she is obviously very excited. She asks her next question like, what is that concept? I would be happy to learn that also. So here he explains her about that concept, and that concept is actually this one, looping concept. Okay, so I hope you understood when do you actually use looping concepts. I have already told you, you are always discussing about what, why and how, right? These questions are our favorite ones. What, why, how. We have already discussed why. Okay, why actually looping concept came here? Because only and only because when you want to do some task, you want to do some repetitive task again and again. Repetitive, P-E-T-A-T-I, repetitive task. Again and again. Okay, the very important word here is this one, repetitive. If the task is repetitive, only that time you will be using it, else you will not be using it. Okay. So if you want to do something repetitively, same task again and again for some period of time, mostly you should consider using this concept of looping. Okay. This is what Ludo is trying to tell Lily. This is the why aspect which we covered. Why to use loop. Okay. What is actually a loop? Loop is basically a concept. Looping is basically some concept that is there in any programming language which will help you to perform some task again and again. Okay, which will help you to do some task again and again. I hope you have already, you know what is the meaning of loop, right? Loop basically means you represented something like this, which runs again and again. Okay, maybe a coffee machine is there, and coffee machine also will be running again and again. As soon as you press button, it will spill out the coffee. Again, when you press button, it will spill out the coffee. Even you are in actually a loop. You go to college, you get up, have breakfast, go to college, come back, study, dinner, sleep, get up, breakfast, go to college, come back, study, study is not mandatory there, so you can, I think we should skip that one. I told wrong, I used the wrong word there in front of wrong people. I don't know how many of you study after college, but mostly there might be some people who do also, but most people might be not studying. Especially these guys are very let's not speak, but these guys I don't think they'll study. So what is looping? We saw right now why to use looping. We also saw. Now let's see how to use looping. Okay, what is the syntax for that? So I've already told that you have two types of loops: for loop, while loop. You can use either of this, whichever syntax feels easy for you, that you can use. Okay. So let's go. Open up. All-time favorite editor, VS Code. Come on, this one. I want to open VS Code. So I hope everyone know now how to create files and all those kind of stuff in VS Code. You are able to do it very easily. There is one more way to run your Python programs. Okay, that is through Jupyter Notebooks. So there is one more software that is available if you want to go inside the field of machine learning. There is a software which is available which is called as Anaconda. Okay, they have kept all snake names in Python. Okay, Anaconda is the world's most popular data science platform. Okay, so if you want to work in this field of I'll go, however when will we end, right? That time I'll go what are the different domains which you can go from here, how you can go from here, what are the best resources that are available. If you want to get placed with some CTC of 3 lakhs, what should be your preparation, and what should be, after learning the Python, what you should learn now. If you are planning to get placed for at least 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs and all, then what all you should learn, what all are the next courses which you can follow for the next 1 year to get to that particular goal, will be all covering in depth. I'll be sharing all the links, resources, everything from where to follow, which to follow, how much days you can give for that particular task and all. If you have any doubts, because I'll be not teaching that, but however I'll share you some free resources also. If you have any doubts in that, still always you can ask. Okay, nothing to worry. If I'm not teaching also, I'll be always helpful to help you out. Okay, so this is also one of the way you can use Anaconda. You can download it, and with Anaconda you get something called a Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so it's a screen where you can write some code, get the output. Just click on one run button, you will get a run button. Click on run button, you will get the output. Jupyter Notebook is another one way to run your Python program. Okay, you can run it from, ideally you can run it from terminal by typing the Python command. You can run it from VS Code. You can run it from Notepad also. However, you can run it from Jupyter Notebook. However, Spider. So there is one more ID which comes with Anaconda, that is Spider. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. What does it mean then? It means that it's a software which will help you to write some program. That's it. How we have VS Code, that way IDE. IDE is little bit advanced than text editor. VS Code is just a text editor like Notepad, but it has tons of features apart from Notepad. IDE is little bit more advanced version than text editor. It is little bit heavy. It will consume little bit more of your RAM than the text editors. It will take more of your resources, more space and all than your text editor does. Okay, text editor is lightweight yet very powerful. So VS Code is my favorite one. So there is a difference between IDE and text editor. Okay, both are doing the same work, but it's little bit heavy. IDE is little bit heavy, whereas text editor is little bit light. So I'll create some folders here. One is code folder, as we every time do, and inside this, not inside, outside this code folder, I'll create one more folder which is resources folder, and one more folder also I'll create, assignments, assignments. Perfect. Let me go inside the code folder. I'll just click on this code folder and then I will create a new file. See here, this itself is indicating me now inside the code folder the file is getting created. How did I understand? See the space here. Space is indicating that the file is getting created inside the code folder loop.py. Okay, so let's learn about first of all for loop. We saw what and why. Now let's learn how to implement LEME and implement for loop. Okay, before learning for loop we should understand one more function in Python, which is a range function. There is one more inbuilt function in Python, which is a range function. Okay, so it is actually used along with the for loop. It takes two parameters. Okay, you can write here inside this, you can give some parameters, three parameters: start, stop and step. These are three parameters which you can pass inside this function. What is the use of this function? You will understand. It is used to generate numbers, not generate numbers. It is used to basically it is used for you can not to generate numbers, but it is used actually to start a counter value. Okay, so how you have a stopwatch, right? You start your stopwatch from 0 and maybe you stop it at 10. So range function will do the same thing. It will start a stopwatch from one number, starting number, to the ending number. And what is that starting number and what is that ending number? You can give it from here. So you can write something like this: range 2, 5. If you write like this, it will start a stopwatch from 2 till n minus 1. It will always start till n minus 1. Okay, n minus 1 means what? This is actually start, this is actually stop, this can be also called as n. So actually if you tell it to start a stopwatch from, this is like a stopwatch. Okay, so if you are telling it to start a stopwatch from 2 till 5, so you know how the stopwatch will run. First of all, the stopwatch will start with 2, then it will start 3, then it will 4, and 5 will not be print. 5 will not be displayed. You know why? Because I have already told you all, the range function will ends at n minus 1. Okay, the range function will run only till n minus 1. N minus means what? The last number whatever you give here, right? That is n. It will run 1 less than n. That is n minus 1. Let's see how to write the for loop syntax. It's very simple. In Python, it's not like this: for int I equal to 0, semicolon, I smaller than n, I plus plus. It's not like this, like this in Python, because we don't have to mention data types in Python. So there is no question itself writing I equals to 0. I have already told there is no semicolon in Python, so no semicolon also will be there. The way we write it is, let's say I'll give a task: print hello world 10 times. Okay, so as Lily was given the task to print it 100 times. How can I do it? For, let's say if I want to start a stopwatch, think of for loop looping as a stopwatch. Want to start a stopwatch from 0 till 10. Okay, 0 to 10 means 11 numbers will be there. I want to print only 10 times. Or let's say if I want to print numbers only, first print numbers from 0 to 10. I want to print all the numbers from 0 to 10. Okay, so you can write something like this also: print 0, print 1. You can write like that, but this is again a repeated task, right? So print 0, 1, 2, 3. This is the same task we are doing again and again. Let's put it in loop, because print is the same print statement we are using again and again. So I think we can put it in loop and we can iterate. The way we can do it is write for some variable name. Then you should write for some variable name. I'll write variable name as I don't need to mention the data type. For I in range. So I will use one function which is called as range, and then these two. This should be very familiar to you. Every time for if conditions, for loop, while loop, we'll be using it. For functions also we'll be using. For class also we'll be using this semicolon, not semicolon, colon. Okay, and what is the range function? Range function is a timer, right? So you can tell from where to start the timer. I want to start the timer from 0 and I want to end the timer at 10. Okay, is this correct? Is this correct? 0 to 10. Why 11? Why? N minus 1. Because if I write 0 to 10, then it will print numbers only from 0 to 9. I want numbers to be printed from 0 to 10. So I should write n plus 1. If I write here 11, then till 10 it will be printed. If I write here 12, till 11 it will be printed. Okay. And whatever number is there, right, this range function will always give a number. Okay. Right now it will give number from 0 till 11, and at a time it will generate and give you one number in sequence. This is not a random generator. It will not generate and give you any random number. It will generate and give you one number in sequence. First it will generate 0, next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, something like that. That number, whatever number is there, will be stored in this variable I. So tell me, what is the value of I in the first iteration of this for loop? What would be the value of I in the first iteration of for loop? 0. And I want to print the value of I. So can I write print I? Now my question is, I should write this here or I should write it by giving some space. Whatever space you give, that is not important, but should I give some space or should I write it here? Why? Indentation. See, why space is important, you know, because this is something like this. Print I, whichever you want to write, right, print I, that is actually inside the for loop. I have already told you all, if you want to write something inside some statement, then you will be always giving a space. Okay, we will be discussing indentation in depth, but because we want to write this statement, print I want to write it inside for loop. So whatever you want to write inside for loop, you will give all those lines some space. And now if you want to write something outside for loop, now you will come out. For loop end. Okay, so this line what you have written is inside the for loop. How does it understand it is inside the for loop? With the help of this space. And this line is outside the for loop. So when will this line run? It will run after this for loop is getting executed. In C or C++, you do something like this. If you want to put something in inside the for loop, you will put these brackets. In C++ or Java or whichever language, if you want to write something in inside if conditions or inside for loops, you will actually put it in brackets, and inside that bracket you write it print I. You could have written something like this in other language. Because we don't have flower brackets in Python, we use space to indicate that actually this is inside the for loop and this is outside the for loop. Is this clear? Srinidhi, is it clear? I'm sorry for throat. Gaurav, Prakash, is this clear? We'll be discussing about indentation still in depth, okay? You understanding or no? Neha? Neha, you're there? Okay, fine. So let me go inside. See, I am inside the day 6 folder and my code is inside the my loop file which I want to run, right? It is inside the code folder. So if I run now this command, it will throw me an error, python loop.py. It will say that cannot open file loop.py. Why it cannot open? Because I am inside day 6 folder and inside day6 folder there is no loop.py file only. Inside day6 folder there are 3 folders. One is assignment, one is code, and one is resources, but there is no loop.py file, so it is giving me an error. So I will have to first of all go inside the folder code. How to go inside from one folder to another folder from the terminal? With the help of command cd, change directory. Cd means change directory to code. Now see here, now I am inside the code folder. Last line indicates which folder you are inside the code folder, and if you want to check all the files that are available inside this folder, okay, this commands cd command will work on Windows, but some commands will not work on Windows. Okay, ls command is used to check all the files that are available in the current folder. Current folder means which folder? Code folder. But this command will not work in Windows. You will have to type dir. Instead of ls, you will have to type dir command. It will show you all the files. Fine. Now I can run the file python loop.py. Perfect. We got numbers from 0 to 10 and loop ended was printed at the last as expected. Let's debug this. So first of all, put some debugging pointers. 3 pointers I'll put here and here. Wherever you want to put, you can put. I've already told, click on this debug, run and debug. Current Python file I want to debug, so Python file, debug the current Python file. Started debugging. Perfect, you will get all your values here now. Let's do, now the program has come to this line. Let's tell it, come on, execute this line. Whatever line is highlighted, execute that line and go to the next line. Execute, yes, it has executed. That's here. Special variables, variable used is I here because this is the variable which we are using. I value is 0. Now it has come to this line. Print I, so ask it to execute print I. Yes, executed here. It has printed 0 on this screen. Okay, now it has went again in this for loop because you already know how the for loop will work, right? So until this condition is met, when the condition will fail, when the range function, you have told that the range should be from 0 to 11. Whenever the value of I will become 11, it will fail. Condition will fail and it will come out of that loop. Okay, so until the value of I will be till 10, it will just keep on checking. Check the value of I. I is right now 0. Is 0 smaller than the last number 11? Yes, so keep on running. Then it will become 1, keep on incrementing. Although you have not written incrementing logic, range function will automatically increment it. Okay, so check till 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it will check. After becoming 10, it will increment to 11. Now it will check. Is I, that is 11. 11 is smaller than 11? No, it is not smaller than 11. It will come out. It will not go inside now. Okay, so last number what it will print is only 10. So it will just keep on doing two things. One is checking whether it should stop or not. How does it check? It will check with the last number. This number, whatever you have written end, right? I will be cross verified with this. Until I is smaller than the last number end. This is start number, this is end number. Okay, until I is smaller than end, it will keep on running. Once I becomes equal to end or greater than end, it will come out of the loop, stop the loop. This is one thing what it does, and again one thing, automatically keeps on incrementing. So I'll just do this fast. Keep on seeing here, you will understand here 1 is printed, I became 1 here. See this line, here it will show. Here it will show whatever is printing on the console. So it will keep on doing this and checking, printing. Then again it will go to this line. It will check whether I is less than 11 or not, less than or equal to 11 or not. Again print, no, so print again go and check. I is right now 5, so 5 is less than 11 or not. Less than or equal to 11 or not. It is not, so go and print. Go inside and print. Next come, I became 6. Is 6 smaller than or equal to 11 or not? Yes, it is smaller, so go again and print. It is not greater. Until it becomes greater, it will keep, until it becomes equal to or greater, it will keep on printing. Now see here, 9. Now see, 9, now it will go and check here. Is 9 smaller than or equal to 10, 11? Yes, it is, so it will print. It has already printed 9, so now it is going to print 10. It has printed 10. Now it will check, is 10, whatever 10 is there, right? Now it has already incremented, sorry. It has already printed 10. After printing 10, it will increment the value to 11. Okay. Now it is going to execute this one. Is 11 less than basically equal to 11 or not? Yes, it is less than equal to less. It is actually equal to 11, right? 11 is equal to 11, so it is going to not go inside. It is actually going to come out. Now see here, it did not went inside. It came out to this line. Why? Because the value of printed value was 10. Okay. But when it incremented, after printing it will increment, right? So it will print the value of I, then it will increment the value of I. Once incremented, the value of I was become greater than 10. So it came out. And that's it, your program will end now. For loop and programming. Is this clear? Simple steps are happening. One is start index you give, end index you give. It will always keep on comparing the value of I till whether it is equal to or whether it is greater than till end index or not. If it is equal to also, it will break the for loop. It will come out of that loop and it will automatically keep on incrementing. There is no need to write I plus plus here. Now there is one more syntax I have told you. There is a third parameter to it, which is step. Step parameter you can use if you want to maybe write decrementing logic. If you want to decrement the numbers, not incrementing, then you can write here -1. If you write -1 here, now it will start from 0. So I will just write now. Start from 11, end at 0. End at 0 basically means that it will actually stop at 1. Okay, because we already know how end works. Start at 11, end at 0. 0 basically means it will not end at 0, it will end at 1. Okay, and if you write here -1, it will keep on decrementing. So I will not debug now, I will just directly write, just cancel this debug, remove all the debugging pointers, and directly run this. Python name is okay. I have to go inside. Let me open a new terminal. Let me delete all this. Yes. Let me go inside the code folder because code is here. Now type Python loop.py and see here. Started printing numbers in reverse order. It is just like how do you write in C, I minus minus. Same like that. You have to just write here -1. It's very simple in Python. Okay, is this clear? How do you run a for loop? Is it clear? What, why, and how the for loop? 3 answers. In reverse order also, how do you run it? Same thing if you want to do it with while loop, how will you do it? While loop you will have to write manually some things. First of all, for while loop you should write where did you want to start while loop. While loop. Okay, so you have to write first of all the while loop should start from what. So I will create a variable and I will write I equals to 0. My while loop should start from I equals to 0. Okay, now I will write some condition. All these things you are writing manually in the for loop, automatically all those things are happening. Condition and all was written here itself in the range function, but here you will have to write manually. While my I value is smaller than, let's say, 11. While I is smaller than 11, I want to print the same thing, numbers from 0 to 10. So I want to start from 0. From where do you want to start? That you should write first. Next you should write the condition. While my I value is smaller than 11, that means until the value is till 10. Smaller than 11 means until it is equal to 10. You should keep on running the value. And what you should print the value of I. And every time you print the value of I, increment the value of I plus plus. I plus plus operator is not available in Python, so you will have to write I equals to I plus 1. That operator I plus plus is not available in Python. I minus minus is also not available in Python, so you will have to write this syntax, or you can write this syntax also. One and the same. This both means one and the same. what is this actually meaning? This actually basically means that I is equal to I plus 1. So it means one of the same. This is one. You write it this, or you remove the word I and you remove the plus sign from here and put the plus sign here. One and the same. Instead of writing 2 times I, you can do it like this also. I like this. Okay. This you can do, and here you can write. Because I want all these lines to be there inside the while loop, I have given some spaces, and I want this line to be there outside the while loop, so I write while loop ends here. Because I want this line to be there outside the while loop, so I am writing, I am not giving any space. I have written directly the same line at while. It will do also the same thing, print the numbers from 0 to 10 and while. Only what has changed between these two is basically only that the way we are writing that has changed. Okay. So what will exactly happen here? While I is equal to 0. So I will be removed and 0 will be placed here. So 0 is smaller than 11. Is it true or false? Come on, fast. True. So this expression now will be removed and here true will be substituted. So what you should understand the game, the whole in one fundamental point if you want to understand while loop issue is only when the condition becomes true. Sorry? Anyone wants to say something? Anyone wants to say something or what? Remember this point for your life long. Even if conditions, even in while loops. Only and only when the condition will become true, that time it will go inside the loop. And if conditions, only and only when the condition will become true, only that time it will go inside the if condition block. What is block? Block is basically a small line of code. Okay, so only and only when the condition will become true, only that time it will go inside the if condition. Only and only when the while condition will become true, that time it will go inside the while block. Or else when the condition will become false, it will come outside the while loop. Remember this. So whatever condition you are writing here, the answer of that should always result in true or false. This is the far most important point I am telling you. I am repeating it again one time. Put it a star mark and highlight it and keep whatever answer condition you write. Whenever you are writing some condition, the answer of that condition, when you substitute the values and all those kind of stuff, how I did it and showed you all right now. When you substitute all those values and see, the answer of that expression should always result in either true or false. It should not result in something else. Okay, so it should result in true or false, and when it becomes true, that time it will go inside. When it becomes false, it will come outside. Now I have few questions after telling this very important point. Questions. Okay, one more thing I want to show you. In for loop, if you want to break, okay, if you want to break this for while loop, let's say if you want to stop the while loop, how to do it? So there is one more thing which is called as break statement. Break statement is used. When to use break statement? Is used when you want to stop the loop in between. Whenever you want to stop the loop in between, you can use break statement. And there is one more statement which is continue. Continue statement is whenever you want to skip the current iteration and continue with the next iteration. What is the meaning of this? You will understand. And there is one more function which is used, which is exit function. Exit function. So you will use exit function exit function is used to stop the whole program. Stop the program, whole program. Okay, so you should write just exit 0. Exit 0, if you write like this, your whole program will be stopped. Wherever you use this line, right, your whole program will stop there. What is break, we'll try to understand. Okay, so if you want to stop this while loop, when this while loop will be stopped, to tell me if I write this condition, when this while loop will be stopped. When the while loop will be stopped. So if someone, yes, exactly, when the while condition, whatever you have written here, when it will become false, it will come out of that loop. That means it will stop. So at what is that point when it will stop? What is that condition at which it will become stop? What is the value of I? Yes, exactly, when 10 becomes smaller than 10, not exactly, here it is, what you told is right. Right now here it will be when I value will basically become 10, that time it will print 10 as it is, but I value will become basically 11 here, that time it will stop. So terminating condition is 11. Okay, so that time of false will be substituted here and then it will break. So what if I tell you, please stop this while loop when I will become 5, that time what you will do? That time what you can do is, you can write one more condition here. That time you will be using break, because when you want to stop something, stop a loop at maybe some conditions, by using some condition, if you want to stop a loop, that time you will be using break statement. If I value, if I becomes 5, that time I want you to break this loop. So I will just write break. And why I gave again little space here, I did not write here, I did not write here, I did not write even here, I wrote it here, because to indicate that first of all, if condition is inside the while loop, and please give same space. You cannot give one space different, one space different. Okay, all these lines are, 3 lines are inside while loop, so they have been given same space here. Okay, if condition is inside while loop, so same space. Now this break is first of all inside while loop, so as it is same, this much space is given. Why? Because it is inside while. Now it is not only inside while, but it is also inside if. So this space is indicating that it is also inside if. This total space is indicating that it is first of all inside while, now it is also inside if. Break. Okay, now if I run this program, it will just stop when I value will be 5. Okay, so as it printed till 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, when I actually became 5, because we incremented I here and then we wrote break here. So when I actually became 5, because it incremented, after incrementing it just checked. You can do the, if you want to print 5, you can increment after checking. Okay, you can increment it after checking. Now what it will do is, it will just print I, it will check if I is equal to 5 or what. It is not equal to 5, then it will increment. Okay, now it will print 5 also. Okay, why it is printing 5 also? Because we have incremented afterwards. Okay, if you just trace this program, you will understand. It will print first of all 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it will check if I is equal to 4, no. So it will not break, it will go and increment I, it will make I as 5. Now it will check here, while condition became true, I it will print 5. After printing 5, is I is equal to 5? Yes, break it off. I hope you got to know the break statement. Now what if I tell you one more task, that is same while loop, you do one thing, whenever only 5 values should not be printed here. Okay, apart from that all values should be printed. So what I am trying to tell you is, you want to skip some iteration. Okay, so whenever we talk about loops, right, we talk about iteration. What is the meaning of iteration? Iteration basically means that when I say something is in loop, okay, something is getting executed repeatedly n number of times. Okay, so iteration means that every ith time what it gets executed, right, that is called as iteration. For example, I told you, even you are in loop, right, you get up, you go to college, you come back, you have your dinner, you sleep, you get up to college. So here also every day is a iteration. So today you did this all tasks, so it completed the first iteration. One iteration means what? Whatever is there inside the while loop, it got executed one time. Whatever is there, if 10 lines are there, all those 10 lines got executed one time. That means one iteration has got over. If again one time it is getting all those 10 lines got executed again one time, that means two iterations have been got over. So how many times the while loop or the for loop body of that for loop or the block of the while loop or the for loop will be executed, that is called as iteration. How many times? So if here right now, because I am the while condition is printing 10 times, so here 10 iterations will happen. Okay, how many times the whole body will be getting executed, that is called as an iteration. I do want the fifth iteration to be executed. So how many iterations will actually happen here? If I remove the syntax, how many iterations will take place here? How many iterations will take place? Are you able to hear? No. If you don't respond, no, I feel there is issue from my side or what? Right now, whatever code is there here. How many iterations will take? The while loop will go through. 10, right? Very simple. So I hope you understood what is the meaning of iteration. How many times that while loop will run in the loop? First it will run, second time again it will run, third time again it will run. Each running is called as an iteration. 10 times, 10 iterations will go. What if I tell you, I don't want you to execute the fifth iteration? So that time if you want to skip some iteration of the loop, that time you will be using continue statement. Got this point? If you want to skip some iteration of that loop, you will be using continue statement. So I can write something like this: if I becomes 5, then please skip that iteration, continue. Okay, so I'll just print. Before writing like this, I'll just write it here. Write this at the starting. Why? Because it makes very important point. Because here, whenever I value will be 5, it will go. Whenever the I value will go and reach 5, it will go and continue. Continue means what? Now it will not execute all these lines. It will go for the next iteration. So what it will happen is, when I value will become 5, next line it will go inside the if condition and it will see continue here. Continue means what? Now whatever is there down inside that while loop will not be executed, it will be skipped for that iteration and it will go here. It will check now. It will check it will actually, 1 minute, I have to write to increment the value before itself. Okay, so see how it will work now. Okay, I became 0, so 0 is smaller than 11. Yes, it is smaller than 11, so maybe we can ask it to not increment, I want it to print. First of all, print 0. Okay, now after printing 0, let's see, increment it and see increment. After incrementing you will get the value 1. Now it will check if I is equal to 1 or what. It is not equal to 1. So it will go on doing this. Now it will become, I will become 5. So it will actually print 5, but we don't want to print 5, right? When I told you that you should skip the number 5 here. So whatever, see, remember this point, whatever you are going to write after continue, that will not be executed for that particular iteration, only and only for that particular iteration. So I don't want to print 5, right? So instead of printing 5 at last, I will print 5 here. Why I am printing 5 here? You know why I will here? Because whenever I will become 5, it will actually not execute whatever is there down, only and only for that particular iteration. So it will skip this line, because print is the only line that is there here. So it will skip that line, it will go for next iteration. Now here it will again make the value of, increment the value of I, it will make I is equals to 6. Now here the condition will become false, so continue will not execute, it will execute print I. See here, I think 5 must be skipped here, 5 is not there here. Did you get this point? If you are making notes, point to be noted: when to use break, when to use continue. What continue will do, what break will do. Continue will skip the current iteration, it will just skip the current iteration. When I skip the current iteration, whatever lines that are available inside the while loop. Remember, just 1 minute, concentrate here what I am trying to tell you, very important lines. Whatever lines are written below the continue statement or below the if whatever your condition you are writing and then writing continue, right? So whatever lines are there inside the while loop that are below the continue statement will be skipped for that particular iteration, but above lines will be executed as it is. If I write print I here, okay, instead of writing here print I, if I write print I here, what it will do, you know? हाँ बोल की sorry 11 is to 11 is printed. Okay, I is smaller than 11. I start from 0. I is smaller than 11. Then print. It is because of incrementing. We'll come back to that. Okay, 1 minute. But let me first of all tell you this one. If I write print I before continue, now see, I'll run this program here. 5 is also getting printed. So what is the point to remember that whenever you write continue statement, whatever you write below the continue statement, whatever, like you may write print hello, print, this is 5th iteration, whatever you are going to write below the continue statement, only that line will be skipped. And when I say whatever you write below the continue statement, doesn't mean this print statement. I am not talking about this print statement. I am talking about only those lines which are there inside while loop or for loop. Only those lines which are there inside while or for loop, and those which are basically below the continue statement will be skipped. That iteration will be skipped and it will go for next iteration like this. If you see here, this is 5th iteration will be printed every time. Okay, it is printing every time, but I think it must have not printed for the 5th number. See here, for the 5th, after 5th it has not printed. This is 5th iteration. It has directly printed 6 because this line will not be executed only because you ask here to continue, right? So it will not execute whatever is there below. It will go here again, check on the condition and go for the next iteration. It will keep on executing the next iteration. Okay, now what you told is at some point I is becoming 10. 10 is smaller than 11, is actually 11 is smaller than what got printed? Actually 11 got printed, end of while loop. 11 got printed. Correct. What he is telling is completely correct. See here, I will be at one time 10, right? So 10 is less than 11. It will come inside the loop, and first we are incrementing, so it is getting printed. So I will become 11. It will print 11 here. Okay, that's why it is incrementing. If you want, you can write the incrementing logic at the last. Okay, so that it should not be printed. If you write this, but there is one issue that will happen. See here, I was expecting this. It will stop here. It is continuously keeping on printing fine. It has entered inside an infinite loop. This is called as infinite loop, which means it is never going to stop. If you want to stop it, I typed Control C. Control C is an option which you can use to stop it. Why it went in continue? Because here it actually went for 5. Let's say 5. 5 is less than smaller than 11. Yes, print 5. It printed 5. Now if I is equal to 5, you are saying continue. So these lines will not be executed. It is never going to increment only. It is going to continue here. It is going to go here, print again 5. Again I is 5 only because no incrementing. Incrementing logic we have written below, and we know that whenever we write continue statement, after continue the for that particular iteration the below lines will not run only. So it will never be incremented only because it is not getting incremented itself. It has went and got stuck at 5. But below 5, whatever is there, I think it must have printed. Not sure, it is not showing here. Okay, but till 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever is there, it will print. But after 5, it will get stuck inside this loop. Okay, so I had written incrementing logic before itself, before this continue, because whatever happens, if it continues to the next iteration also, incrementing should happen only because of that. You can, if you want to print it till 10, you can just decrement a number here and it should print till 10. Fine, I hope this is clear. Break statements and all are clear. If you want to exit the program, if I just want to exit the program, I'll just write exit 0. If you write exit 0, now this while loop will not run only, okay, just here. Hey, come on, it just quitted. It came here while I is equals to 0, while I less than smaller than 0, yes, it went inside, and exit means program out, okay. So the whole program got closed. This is used to just completely shut down the program, stop the program. Is this clear? Who has not understood it? Remember, continuous statement, use it very carefully. Whatever you write below will not be executed for that particular iteration, and only that code which is there inside that loop. Srinidhi, clear? Aditya? Which one? Yes, you understood break? Perfect. See, let's try to understand first of all what is this continuous statement, what and when to use this. Continuous statement is actually used when you want to skip the current iteration and when you want to continue with the next iteration, okay. So first thing to understand is continuous statement will not break the program. How break does? What break will do? It will quit the loop, right? It will stop the loop. Only the loop, not the program. If you want to quit the whole program, you will use exit 0. But if you want to stop only the loop, you will be using break statement. But continue is special. It's not used to quit also. It is not used to exit the whole program also. It is only used to skip an iteration and again continue with the next iteration. So for this, first of all, you should understand what is exactly an iteration means. Iteration basically means that whenever you run a loop, right, then it keeps on performing the same task again and again. Each time it performs a task, right, that each time is called as one iteration. If you are asking a task to be performed for 10 times, so you will perform 10 iterations there. So is this clear first of all, Srinidhi? What is exactly the meaning of iterations and all? Perfect. Now, if I give you a task that you should skip some iteration, maybe you want to print numbers from 0 to 10, but you don't want to print the 5th number. So, is it relating that here we actually want to skip a loop, whatever we wanted to do, right? We want to skip a loop for the 5th number. Whenever our I value will be basically becoming 5, that time we don't want to print that number, okay. So what I told you is, this point you just remember, you will get it. The point to be remembered is, whatever you write after continuous statement will not be executed for that particular iteration. I repeat, so whatever you write after continuous statement will not be executed for that particular iteration. Let's write this once more. Let's write print I. It will print all the numbers. After printing all the numbers, you want to increment the value. So you will write I equals to I plus 1. This is quite simple. You must be already knowing all this kind of stuff. Now this will print all the numbers from 1 to 10. Now what I am trying to tell you is, I don't want it to print 5th number. So 5th number, if you don't want to print, that means you are indirectly saying that you want to skip the 5th iteration. So if you want to skip the 5th iteration, if you want to skip some iteration in the loop, you already know which statement you will be using. You will be using continuous statement. Now you will write continuous statement here. How you will write continuous statement? If I is equal to 5, you will write continue. But only writing this will not work, okay. If you write this, what I have told, one very important point, whatever you are going to write below the continuous statement, that will be skipped, only that will be skipped. But whatever you have written above continuous statement will be executed as it is. Did you get this point, Srinidhi? Very crucial point. whatever you have written above continue statement will be as it is executed, whatever you write below continue will be skipped. Is this clear? Yes. Now let's see if I execute this. Although I have written continue here, still my numbers from 0 to 9, all those numbers were being printed, even 5 was being printed. Why 5 was being printed? Actually, I told it to skip the 5th iteration. But actually it will execute this line at least. Where I have told it to skip, I have told it to skip here. But before that itself, I have told it to print 5, the value of 5. So it is printing. So I don't want it to print the value of 5, right? So what is the line which is responsible for printing the value of 5? This line. I'll just cut this line, put it after continue. Why? Because of this, what will happen now? Whenever the value I will become 5, it will actually continue it. Continue means what? It will not execute this line. It will go to the next iteration. It will go again increment the value of I. It will make it 6. Now it will check if I is equal to 6. It should not continue it. So it will print I. See here. Is this clear? Or you want some more explanation about it? You want me to debug and show you? Okay, let's run and see what all is going on. Let's do it. I is 1, I is 0, so I is smaller than 10. So first of all it came here, it incremented the value of I. It checked if I is equal to 5. No, it is not, so it will not continue, it will print the value of I. So I think you should be able to see it in the screen. Yes, it should print the value of I became 1, it is not printing 0 because here we have written print last, right? And before printing we have incrementing it. I was 0, but whenever it came inside the while loop, we first of all incremented it. So it actually is printing 1 and not 0 because we have incremented it first. Let's do it one more time. Now I has became 2 here because incrementing it. 2 is I is equal to 5. No, so it will not continue. It will go and execute all the remaining lines of while loop. What is the remaining line that is left in while loop? Only this print line, so that it will execute. And it has executed and printed 2. Let's go one more time. 3. Same thing, increment, not continue. So if it is not continuing, it will execute all the remaining lines that are available inside the while loop. So print 3. It will do this one more time for 4 also. Now see what interesting will happen. Now I is smaller, I is 4, 4 is smaller than 10. Yes, go inside the loop, make it 5, I is equal to 5 now. See here, you will understand, I is equal to 5. This is the variable that is holding. Okay, here it will show all the local variables that you are using, and here it will show whatever you have asked it to print. Here, because we have told it to print I, it is printing it here. So now I became 5. If I is equal to 5, is I equal to 5? Yes, it is equal. That means it will go inside this if condition and it will say continue. So what I have told, whenever it will say continue, whatever lines you are going to write below continue will be skipped only for that iteration. Now see, actually after this continue, print I should be executed, but print I will not be executed. It will be skipped. Whatever lines are there below. If again 10 lines could be there below, all 10 lines could be skipped. Do it once more step. Yes, it went here. It did not actually print anything here. See here, it had to print this, but it did not print because of this continue word. It actually skipped that iteration. Whatever lines are there below the continue, skipped it, went from starting again. Is that clear? And remaining things it will work as it is. Perfect. Aditya? If it is still not clear, you can ask. I don't have any issues in explaining it once more. Aditya? Okay, so you know now when to use continue, when to use break statement, when to use exit 0. And for loop also, while loop also, both syntax you know. Is it clear? That is done. I will show you one more thing here in for loop. There is one more interesting thing which you can do. Third one, parameter, is very special one. Okay. If I tell you print only the even numbers, Okay, then you can print all the even numbers from 0 to 10. Okay, so 0 to 10 all the even numbers. So even numbers basically means are in a step of 2, right? So I mean to say not step 2, step 1. So what is the meaning of step here? Step is basically used to skip. So step means what? Think of all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all such steps are there, all such numbers are there, and if you give step as 1, it will keep on skipping one number. It will keep on every iteration, it will just skip, it will just jump one number and go. One jump it will take. If you write step as 2, it will skip two numbers. Okay. So I hope it is clear. If you want to print numbers from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if you are starting from here, okay, and if I write the third parameter step as 1, what it will do is it will print 0. It will not print 1, it will go to print 2. It will not print 3, it will basically print 4. It will print like this. It will just take a steps. From here, it will one step it will take. So it will skip one number. Is this clear? What is the use of step parameter? And step can be used for also reversing it. So if I write step as 2, then what it will do? It will print 0, it will skip this 2, it will print 3, it will skip this 2. Is this clear? What is the use of step? If you want, I'll just show you here. Come on. Okay. Okay, sorry. I did one mistake. If you write step as 1, it will actually print the normal way itself. If you write step as 2, now it is going to skip. Now it is going to skip one number in between. Okay, so if you write step as 3, it is going to skip two numbers in between. See here. Okay, so it will actually skip I hope I'm audible. My earphones battery got down. Am I audible? Okay. So if I'm basically asking it to skip three numbers, it will actually skip n minus 1. Again, same as AND will do. Okay. If I ask it to skip two numbers, it will actually skip one number and it will take a jump. Is this clear? See here. So if someone asks you to print even numbers, then actually the logic was something like this, right? You will check whether the number is divisible by 2 or not. Whether let me not write this. Print all the even numbers from 0 to 2. Okay, even numbers will actually start from 2. So let me start the loop from 2. Print all the numbers from 0 to 11. All the even numbers. If you wanted to write, you will write something like this, right? If there is one more operator which is modulus. Modulus operator is actually a remainder operator. So division operator is to divide two numbers, modulus operator is to find the remainder of two numbers. For example, 2 divided by 2, what is the remainder? 0, so it will give 0 as the answer. So modulus operator, if I modulus 0, if the remainder of any number, how do you decide whether it is even or odd? When you divide any number by 0. When you divide any number you take 4 divided by 0. If you give the remainder as 0, that basically means that it is even. If you get the remainder as any other number, that means that it is actually odd. So only print even numbers if you want to do. Only print even numbers. How would you do? If modulus of 2 is equal to 0, then you would say print that number, print I. this will actually print numbers, only even numbers from 0 to 11. But there is one more way to do it in Python, that is with the help of step. Very simple, there is no need to write also that. You just ask, because we know that even numbers are actually a step of 2. Even numbers will actually, if you skip any number in between, right? So if you start from 2, then skip 3, 4 is even. Skip 5, next number is even. Skip 1, next is even. So you already know that even numbers are actually 1, next, 1, next, 1, next, right? So 1 after the next, right? So you can write here skip one number. If you write 2, it will skip one number, right? That also will give you all the even numbers. Is this clear? What is the use of step? It will actually take jumps in the iterations. How we have continue, right? Continue actually skips the iteration, right? Or goes to the next iteration, right? So even in this one step, it will actually take a step over the iterations. It will not execute some iterations. Is this clear? Whenever you write step 2, some iterations will not be executed. Okay, it will, those iterations will be skipped. How much step you are giving, n minus 1, that iterations will be skipped and will not be executed. Is this clear? Whatever is discussed today? Fine. Tomorrow we will be dealing more with strings. We'll try to learn some advanced concepts of strings. We'll try to go into functions. We'll try to learn into lists and all those kind of stuff, which will help you to solve more better problems and all those kind of stuff. We'll solve few questions which are most commonly asked in normal interviews and all. So that also we'll see. But today's assignment I'll just give you all and we'll wind up. So assignment. Your task is write a program to print all odd numbers from 0 to 50. Okay, using which loop you want to write, that loop you can write. You use while or you use for. Write a program to print odd numbers itself. Again, from 0 to 50 in reverse order. Print start a loop. So just write this. I don't have anything going inside my mind right now. I'll just check few assignments and I will add those assignments. I'll upload it on GitHub within some 10-15 minutes. This video, however, will not be uploaded today, but the assignment will be uploaded on GitHub. You already have those links, so you can go and check on day 6 folder, go to the assignment section and check whatever assignments are there that you can try it tomorrow. Hope you will solve those assignments and come. Okay, so that's it. If you have any doubts, you ask, or else we'll wind up. Any doubts? Yes, you can take. I'll tell you that when we'll basically go to string, because we will have to learn some functions that are available in string, like split and all. Okay, so you already know that whenever we take an input in Python, it is already in a form of a string. It will not come in integer or any other format. It is always a string. So when we learn some advanced concepts of strings, right, like how you split a string, how you join strings, all those kind of stuff. We have learned only concatenation of string, we will learn replication of string, we will learn splitting, joining, lots of works can be done on string. When I teach you that, right, I will tell you how you take input as a, when we learn how do you actually take multiple numbers and split those and store it in different variables and all, that I'll tell you that time. And also how do you take input arrays and all, that kind of thing also I'll tell you when we learn list and all. Because if you want to do that, you will be using some functions which are related to string. We'll be seeing more in depth tomorrow about strings. Is that okay? Fine. Anything else? Any other doubt? Any other doubt? Come on fast, if no, we'll wind up. Any other doubt, or should we wind up? Okay, fine. That's it then. Thank you so much. You can leave. I'll share the day 5 link. Yeah, bye bye. Bye bye bye. Thank you so much.